Here are 7 things to consider when going to court against an abuser. First things first, I don't need to know who your abuser is. I know this about them. All abusers have the same core belief, and that is they have a right to abuse you, and they're going to whatever lengths they need to get to prove that what they did was justified. So here are things you need to be aware of. The first one is they are shameless, pathological liars. They're going to lie on court documents. They're going to lie on affidavits. You will see a statement that says, I swear this is the truth. I swear under oath this is the truth. And they're going to lie. So it's important for you to have evidence, especially evidence that shows that you have addressed it in the past, that you're not okay with something they've done. So it's really important if someone, let's say they physically assault you, write a text the following day and say, I was not okay with this. You hit me. That's not okay. That is evidence. Have evidence from the past. Have text messages, medical records, whatever it is you need that. Secondly, when you decide to do this, make sure you're all in. Don't be someone who can be convinced out of pressing charges. Don't be someone who changes their mind flimsily, because it will look like you're dishonest. It will look like your perception is not reliable. Um Remember, you're dealing with someone who feels like they have a right to do something. So they're fighting against you as if you're violating their human rights. And yet they are the one violating your rights. They will lie through their teeth. The second thing you need to be aware of is they will tamper with witnesses. They will threaten witnesses, get witnesses to turn on you, witnesses who saw you being abused. They will try and find people who they know don't like you, who were happy when you're being abused, to make false statements. Some of them will even try to bribe judges. If that's a thing that happens in your country, you need to be aware of this. The third is they are going to do DAVO. If you've watched Dr. Ramani's videos, you know what DAVO is. It's deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. So they're going to deny they did something, they're going to attack you, they're going to reverse victim and offender and say they are the victim. And yet it's clear that you are the victim. So it's important that when they do this, you maintain composure. You have to maintain composure because remember, they're trying to paint you as the true offender in the situation. So when they start attacking you, when they start saying no, they are the victim, you have to maintain composure, because any reaction you show, they're going to latch onto it and act like you are the offender, and yet they are the offender. And it's so unreasonable if you think about it. Because a lot of the times when abuse happens, there's a hierarchy: parent to child, man to woman. There's a disproportionate power dynamic going on. Someone has more power over the other person. So it's so funny when you see, funny not in a haha way, but weird, peculiar way. Um, when you see that type of person claiming they are the victim. How can a child victimize you? Make it make sense. So you need to be aware of this. Um, the next one is they know they are guilty, right? Although they believe that they have a right to abuse you, they know that it's not socially acceptable. That's why they have a face they show you behind closed doors and a face they show the public. So they are going to find the most slithery attorney, someone who's willing to work in gray areas to prove that they haven't done anything to you. So It's really important during this time, one, that you maintain your composure, two, that you tap into your intuition because your intuition can warn you when the lawyer is planning something. That was my situation. My instincts saved me every time. My instincts saved me every time. I have a very strong sixth sense, and I sensed a lot of the things that the lawyer was trying to do before they did them. So I was always prepared. The next one is be the reasonable one. I know if someone has done something crazy to you, it's hard for you to calm down. It's hard for you to not, be frazzled, but you have to show yourself as the reasonable person. Stay calm when you're communicating, when you're called to speak, stay calm. And even if you are in a state where you're like, F off, I want nothing to do with you, communicate it in a professional way. Say something like, this relationship is broken irrecoverably. Not, F you, I don't want to see him anymore, that sort of thing. Maintain your composure, be the reasonable person. The last thing is you're going to learn a lot about yourself. There's something I'm always saying to people, and that is your trauma does not make you, it exposes who you are, your strengths. One of the qualities I got to see in myself is that I have a delayed emotional response. And so when the lawyer was trying to provoke me, I wouldn't have an emotional reaction. I would just answer logically. So they weren't able to paint me as crazy as they were trying. They tried that on me, and I maintained composure. I was stoic. I answered questions. Um, and I said what I wanted to say, gave my statement, and they were not able to get a reaction out of me, to elicit anger in me, even with the lies, the outrageous lies that were written in these documents. It didn't work. So I learned that that's a good quality I have. I used to judge it, and I know it's from trauma. When you grow up in an environment where you're not allowed to show, especially negative emotions, you have this delayed emotional response. The other thing I learned is I'm just not someone who's comfortable with people getting away with doing crazy things to me. I'm just not. It doesn't matter who it is, I don't care who you are. I will seek justice. Um, and you need to know something. It feels horrible in the beginning, but it does get better. Like when you're going to court multiple times, it doesn't feel great. When you're hearing lies that are being made up about you, it doesn't feel great. When people are denying evidence, picture evidence, video evidence, audio evidence, it doesn't feel good. But on the other side, you stood up for yourself. It's always important that you stand up for yourself. I'm always saying you need to stand up to your first bullies because it sets the tone for your future relationships. You need to stand up to bullies in general, and you need to start with your first bullies because it sets the tone for your future relationships. If you don't stand up to your first bullies, when you face bullies in the future, you won't have the strength to stand up to them because they are bullies in the past you didn't stand up to. Subconsciously, you don't see yourself as someone who's worth standing up for, who's worth protecting. So stand up to bullies. Stand up for yourself. You deserve empathy. You deserve protecting. You're dealing with someone who has a warped sense of reality. If you've read the book, Why He Does That, that was the book that really helped me. It tells you that the abuser's not making mistakes. They know exactly what they're doing. They can see they're hurting you. That's why they only do it behind closed doors. They know exactly what they're doing. They treat it as something that is not socially acceptable because people in society have stupid rules. They should be able to do it out in the open. But they understand that they must protect their image. Oh, another point. So this is 8. Another point is abusers will pull the "you're ruining my reputation" card. you will be talking about 18 years, 20 years of abuse. And they will say in court you're trying to ruin their reputation. Why didn't they think about their reputation all those 18 years when they were doing what they were doing? They try to humanize themselves by saying he's this person in society, he's this influential person, you're ruining his reputation. And it's like you attempted to destroy a whole human being's sense of self. And you want to compare that to a reputation that you created yourself by doing the crazy things. So when you hear this argument, this is the same argument. Oh, we don't want to destroy this person's future. They're bright, they're this. After someone has sexually assaulted someone, it's the same thing. You know, these cases that are always coming up. Um, so yeah, these are things you need to be aware of. I've seen it time and time again. If you talk to different people who've been in court with abusers, they will tell you they've experienced all of these things. It doesn't matter what part of the world you are, it doesn't matter what your abuser looks like, at what age, what the dynamic is, what the relationship is. They all think the same, they all behave the same. And if you know these things and expect them, you can prepare your strategy to get justice. So, thank you for joining me. My name is Shido. I'm your personal emotional intelligence detective, always keeping it real. See you next time. Subscribe, share with your friends who may be going through this. Follow if you're watching on TikTok.